Hey, welcome back. We're back in Timberborn, and today we've got a couple more issues to take a look at. First issue, we're gonna have to probably change the priority on these. In fact, we'll put them back to normal so that we can, let's get those up to a little better, and then we'll get those back to normal so that we can get our smelters up and running, and hopefully that will help us get a little bit more stuff done. Our second project is going to be over here today. I want to take the bad water that comes out of here during bad tides and just basically shove it right off the map. We're not going to need it for now, and when we will need it, we'll just remake the plan here. But the plan basically is to build up another set of stairs right here. We're going to take that one out because it's in the way. And once that's in, let's connect you back over here. There we go. That can go. And here, we're going to come in. First of all, we got to remove these trees. So we're going to put another lumberjack flag in there so that these can get done. We'll say that both of those are high priority so that all of these trees down here get removed. That can go, that can go, that can go, all of that can go. We have a ton of injured beavers at the moment, and they're almost all coming from the mine over here. As you can see, even our nice hospital bed setup that we have over here is not enough to keep these beavers out of the hospital. So the first thing I'm going to do, well, if they're already getting injured, I'm just going to set it to the efficient mine. If they're already hurt, why not give them dynamite, right? Seems like a good idea. We're going to do that to get some more scrap metal, but the real fix is actually going to come in down here. So down here, we are going to, let's see, take this, do I want this one out or do I want this one out? We're going to go with this one here. Yep, that right there. And what I'm going to build back is we're going to start on our bots. So let's do those. We'll do 3 up this way, and then we'll put the assembler on top. Should still have power, but we are going to need ladders to get up there. So we're just going to do ladders up the side of the building. And for now, we will just do platforms every other one. Eventually, I'm going to come back through and make a second tower here. We'll take these and extend them out just a bit, but I'd like to get them in there and get them usable pretty soon so that we can send them over to the mine and hopefully save ourselves some beavers that way. Another way to combat having a bunch of injured beavers is to have a bunch of extra beavers in reserve so they can take right over just as one gets injured. So what I'm going to do here, instead of these breeding pods that we have, we're actually going to take those out and we're going to replace them with the better ones, the advanced breeding pods. And those 5 can probably be replaced with just 3. We'll say these are super high priority so we don't have a lag in population. But after that, the population should go up pretty sharply once these all get in and going. Finally, the 3 number crunchers along the back here are done, which means I can unpause the last of my smelters. Hopefully, that will increase our metal block production at least a decent amount. Before we had 2, so now we have 6. So hopefully a metal block or 2 extra comes out of there. We've got a lot of things requiring metal blocks. So while I'm here and I'm thinking about it, I do know that these types of 2x2 piles have a special attribute that the normal ones don't have. And that is that you can actually build right on top of them like this and then put another one right here. And that's what we'll do. We'll put our blocks going out there, and then they won't have to walk quite as far when they need to unload some of the ones that they've made. Since we have all of those number crunchers, we don't really need these science huts anymore, so we can go ahead and get rid of that. And while we're here, we might as well blow up this dynamite. Let's put the trees in. There we go. So that gives us back a whole bunch of beavers, plus a little bit of supplies. In fact, we can find all of the beaver Fran scientists places and just say, thank you, but no thank you. We're done with you. So that gives us 11 extra beavers, which we can then come over here and get them hauling. At least we've got a job for them at the moment. In fact, it looks like they've hauled a lot of this dynamite over here. There we go. Good job, fellas. We're going to get rid of those stairs. Now, hopefully stuff gets moved around the colony a little better. Oh, we got 2 more here. I also want to come over and we'll get rid of this. Let's say that's high priority, because what I'm going to do is have this farm go ahead and start planting up here. And we're actually going to get another farm in here. This whole area is just going to be full of farms. And over here, we're probably going to do, let's see, we want eggplant. We're going to do eggplant all in here. And we'll do some eggplant here. And then over here, we're actually going to grab corn. We're going to fill this whole place with corn. There we go. And, oh, would you look at that? They've got that done, so let's say that's important. And then they can start planting corn for us. Oh, let me get a path through here, because we're going to need a path. We don't want them to have to walk all the way around. There we go. You know what? There's a couple of green spaces here. Let's just fill it with canola. Down here in our mining colony, we haven't really built much in a little while, and I think it's time to maybe get a couple things in, help them improve their style of life. Plus, we might make this another area to get some unusual items. So we're going to start here. What I want to do is actually, we're going to take this one out and I'm going to put in power. Let's see, we're going to do the upward. There we go. And you would think I'd want to point over this way, but I've had a slight change of mind, and we're actually going to go that way with it. And if I remove this here, and we put back a path there, there we go. I can build, well, actually, let's take you out, and we'll just build a 2 here. Let's see, 1, 2 here. There we go. We can put in 2 more of the fermenters here. And then if we go underground, maybe, there we go. We can take power out of this, hopefully, out of that. There we go. We'll come around here, and we take this one out. We can put another up one in right there. And we'll end up putting something here. We'll come back to that in a bit. With the extra metal, our large tank finally did get in. I'm going to go ahead and empty this one. That should send most of our haulers over here to move it over. And we're going to take that one out, put in another large tank, and just increase the capacity of that quite a bit more. I'm also going to put in that right there. And we'll say that that is super important so that we can get that out of here. Look at that. They've already moved all the stuff out of the tank. Let's go ahead, get in dynamite there that we're going to need. And once they move, once they get this block in there, there we go. We can take this out. Let's say, hey guys, let's go ahead and get this dynamite in there. And then we'll come back and we will put in another large tank. However, to fill up the large tank, we're going to need a couple more of the deep water pumps. The only thing is, this amount of pumps seems to pretty much dry this whole area out. So I'm going to come down here, and we're actually going to use some water from this area because it never seems to go completely away. So let's go ahead, deep water pump, and we'll start here. Actually, we're going to flip that so that it can get a little bit deeper in there. That should still be connected to the main area. And then they can use this actually as a supply for these 3 to dump off, and then they can take that back to the main colony over here. Back over here, they've got almost all of the trees in their area cleared out, so we can start on the second phase of this project. What I'm going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to find, I believe it's under landscaping, there it is, the aqueducts. There's this wonderful mod that was made specifically for making aqueducts, and we're going to use that. In fact, we're just going to go here and block those off. We're going to go right there. And then we're also going to choose the 5 because it's got both sides. Well, there's one with one side, one with two sides. So it's kind of a whatever you need. And that sticks out over here. Then we need a pillar. Now, I did try some other pillars in other games that I've had, but it looks like you have to place these on top of a top pillar. So in this case, I don't have enough room to put in the bottom and the top, so we're just going to do the top for now. Eventually, if we can get all of this cleared out, maybe we'll go back and redo it into a correct looking pillar. But then we need another 5 here that would come off of this pillar, and of course there's land in the way. So we're going to have to do something about that. We're going to have to remove those and remove those. Let's say those are a little more important. And, oh, this guy looks like he's done already, so that's good to go. Then, once those are in, we can continue on with this aqueduct. We got our dynamite in over here, so let's go ahead and take that out of there. And we're going to put in a second one that's also going to hold water and be a supply. Is this one a supply? No, that one is fine the way it is. We'll just leave that for now. Starting to get a little low on water, though, so I'm going to raise this up, and it can just drink basically from here and here and leave the fruits alone. However, I do want to get in a couple more of the fertilizers up here. Let's do one maybe right here and one maybe right there. And once those go in, we'll put the fertilizers in, but not only for the trees, but it can also increase the growth on trees and berries. So that should give us some extra mangroves up here. Noticing our huge field of kohlrabi, while it's still being constantly harvested because we definitely have the room for all of them, it's still not getting completely harvested. So I'm going to take another farmhouse here and get that in. Still the little roofs, they look nice. We're just going to leave those for now. I'm not too worried about them. I think I'm also going to add in maybe an extra 1 or 2 of those to get a couple more beavers. We might end up taking out a couple more of these because of it, but we'll wait until those are actually built to do that. Over here on our aqueduct project, they've got the dynamite in, so let's go ahead and take that out of there. There we go. That looks good. Then we'll come back, grab the aqueducts again, and we'll put that in there. And then since that's already basically a natural aqueduct from the explosion, we don't really need to do anything in there with it. However, just in case, I want to come along and put on the lids, because there we go. You can actually put one on right there. There has to be a solid below it, which is kind of strange, but I get it. It's a game physics thing. They should be able to build most of that. In fact, while we're here, let's go ahead and put a pile in here for some of the stuff they're going to need. They are definitely going to need scrap metal because there's going to be a lot of scrap metal for that. I'm going to say obtain. We'll say that that's pretty important so that they can get to work on this. And also, I would like them go ahead and make most of this fairly high priority so that if the bad tide comes back, it'll be shuffled out right this way, and we won't have to worry about, well, extra water coming down here for the time being. We've got our first bot, which we're of course going to invest back into getting more bots. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna let the tower fill up with bots, and then usually you would send them to work in your smelters to, 1, help you get more bots, and 2, it's a pretty dangerous job, but it's not nearly as dangerous as the mine this time. So I think once we fill up the tower, we will send them over to the mine, which means we're going to need at least a couple chargers over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get the food factory over here. We're going to put one of these up, and then we're going to toss in a couple of chargers. We're going to do, let's do it this way. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And we'll have them bring over corn to process over here for this colony. But at the same time, we're definitely going to need at least one charger over here. So I'm going to put a charger here. We're going to toss one back here to connect it in. And the same thing here. Because if you put them here, they don't actually connect in. That's not counted as a power connection. So let's get those in. This one I want to be high priority no matter what. The rest of them can be regular priority for now. While we're dealing with corn and probably the eggplant, have those grown up yet? No, not quite. But while we're doing that, I think we're going to toss a couple of food factories over here as well. So let's see. I believe this is 3 high here. So if we do... Nope, that's 2 high. I was wrong. That's... There we go. 2 high. And we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2... That one's going to have to go. We'll get a 1 in there. There we go. And that should support the factories. Let's see if we can get them situated in. We do one like this and put in a ladder there. And then one like this, and it would be just fine. Yeah, they should connect in through here and then through here. So that should be okay for our food generating area. Let's go ahead and just put in our ladder here. We'll say that's of pretty high importance since it's a pretty high traffic area. And then we can at least get some new food here before too long. While the river's low and we've got just the day left, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna fix this right here. We're gonna take that out, which is gonna cause the river to flood. So we're just gonna pause it there for a second. Come in and grab the powered levee so it can just go right through the levee, which was kind of the original idea, but we didn't have that mod at that particular time. So we're going to say that these are all very high priority so that those can get in and we can save up a bunch, and hopefully it doesn't flood down here before the next temperate season. We've got about a day or two before this fills back up, so hopefully they'll be able to get that in. Well, the original plan for the food factory here didn't look like it was going to work because, well, there's no metal blocks coming down the train. There's just not enough being made, plus the train's still a little unreliable. So we're gonna try that. It looks like they need some more water over here too. I just noticed that. So let's get in another maybe 1 or even 2 areas for them to get some more water. Let's do maybe off of here. Do a 3 here. And we'll come out. Just do 1 here. Here. We'll say those are high priority. They should have plenty of ability to take care of those. Over here, we want this pretty high priority, and then we'll say that that one is high priority. Maybe get another row over here. I don't think we'll need any for the bots that are going to take over the mine, but that's okay. We will figure that out. Let's make sure that these guys get actual beavers in them once they're made. The main part of our aqueduct is finally in, and look how good that looks. That is a really, really nicely done mod. It really brings things together and gives it a actual iron tooth feel. We don't quite have the lids on yet, but we're still working on that. We still need more metal and blocks, but on the bright side, I think this should channel everything out in a way. We'll see the next time a bad tide comes through. They finally got enough of the dirt in over here that we can actually set up our last farm for this area in here, we're still going to do the water dump. There we go. Fluid dump, I guess it is. Because this can go dry and then we lose a large portion of the corn, and we don't want that. So we're just going to come in here. We're going to do platforms on top now that we've got our dump in there. And we're going to go storage. We're going to get a large warehouse. There we go. This is going to be switched out with ladders. There we go. Let's get a farm in here. Do that. They can cover most of this area. And then we'll put in just a bit of storage for them to get by as well. We'll do this, and then since they're going to be making corn over here, we might as well put a warehouse in here and let them eat some of the items that they're making over here. So they've got that, they've got their water. They should be good to go. We did finally get rid of these trees up here, so we're going to go ahead, put in these. There we go. And we're going to make sure they apply the fertilizer to gatherables so that, yep, there we go. So that they put them on not only the berries, but the mangroves down here too. Hopefully we'll get some more out of that. We finally got our charger in here, which means we charged our bots up, which means it's time to switch this over. There we go. And we'll work on getting them some more, but I would guess, if I had to wager a guess, that the amount of bots in here should be just equal to or better than having all 10 beavers in there, because they work 24/7 and they're not going to get injured. We're not going to have 17 injured beavers all over the colony. So hopefully that increases our iron production. It looks like we might need another gear factory in here, because we're running a bit behind on there. So we might jigsaw a little bit of that in there. There we go. And let's say that's a bit higher priority. We'll get somebody in there, and then hopefully that can keep this full so that we have scrap metal coming in all the time. Down here, I forgot that I had built that second one on top, so we're just going to go ahead and build our ladder here just like this, and then the rest of them can go on this side as we get them. But that doesn't quite give us access to this. What we're going to need is grab the platforms and then maybe a 5 long. Yeah, that's just perfect. We'll do this. That way we can start storing stuff here that goes into and comes out of the goods station. There we go. Our aqueduct is full. It should be able to dump all of this off the side over here. We'll have to see. I don't think it'll run over the top because it never had that problem before, but we'll find out. Maybe squishing this down into a smaller area might cause it to do that, but if that's the case, we will figure that out on the next bad tide. But look at this aqueduct. It is just a beautiful, beautiful model, and I think it's really adding something to the area. So hopefully we'll get to use more of these. What I've been thinking about here, right now, the water doesn't really hold this growing season in too long, which is not a big deal because we're not building much here, but we will be eventually, and we'll need those logs. So again, I think what I'm going to do, we're going to take this out. We're going to take these trees over here out, and we're going to put in just a bit of dynamite along here, and then we'll actually have to take out one extra tree there, won't we? Unless I go this way, maybe? Yeah, that should work. I guess I don't have to take those out. That's all right. I will just tell them to replant that, and we'll get that one right back in there. That is pine oak. There we go. And then we can make sure that this area always has at least a little water in it. And we can probably detonate some of these cliffs back to get a little bit extra room should we need it. Once we have this in, we can build upwards and just keep storing logs here for as long as we can. Now that we've got some corn rations going, the eggplants are almost there. but the corn is going to hopefully multiply our food quite well. So we're actually going to toss on a second one of these. There we go. And we'll set that for corn. I don't think that will quite get done today, but we'll say that's a supply. This is, you know what, we'll just set that for the regular as well, so that they just have a place to store all the corn rations that should be coming in. With the return to the temperate season, we're getting more water over here, which is good. And we've got our tower in, we've got our really cool looking aqueduct in. We went ahead, got in some factories for egg-planted corn, which should hopefully help our food situation. We are getting more and more bots filling up more and more locations. In fact, I went ahead and put one in the smelter down here, and hopefully that guy puts out quite a few blocks. But I think that's gonna do it for today. We've solved most of the population problems at current that we were having. So next time, we're going to work more on the train route and hopefully see if we can get down a little bit farther. We might try and cap off this bad water source for now and see if maybe we can figure out a way to get some land down here that might be useful for a new district. But until then, just want to say thank you very much for stopping by and hope to see you next time. Bye!